What's good, y'all? It's your boy HB Fun Around. Let me spark up a Newport. As my boy Guzman would say in the comment section, spark up a rat. Anyways, do a little quick session for Canelo Alvarez and what he needs to do. It's pretty straightforward, you guys. You know what Canelo Alvarez is going to do for this fight. Here he has a back-footed fighter. Guy likes to stick and move. So we know what he's going to implement, but I'll go into deeper. Let's just say hypothetically that Caleb Plant does find a way to disrupt Canelo Alvarez. Let's say if he finds the way to disrupt his rhythm, kind of take the fight and dictate it the way he wants, hypothetically speaking. We all know what Canelo Alvarez wants to do. He wants to cut off the ring. He wants to put pressure. He wants to attack you to the body. He wants to rip you there for 8 rounds, and then he's going to set up something to the dome, right? Now, if it's against a southpaw, one of his primary punches he uses to the body is the uppercut, either the uppercut or the right hook, kind of like how he did against Billy Joe Saunders. Now, if you are an orthodox fighter, which Caleb Plant will be, it's his right hook to the body. And obviously, he likes to rip left hooks to the body as well. So, if you're Caleb Plant, excuse me, I got the run. But anyways, let's say hypothetically speaking, Caleb Plant finds the way to make an adjustment to prevent himself from getting ripped to the body. Now, to me, the way Caleb Plant avoids getting ripped to the body, implement the Philly shell. Catch, roll, protect the body at all costs. I may get hit, clipped to the head a few times, but I'd rather take that risk than having my body snatched. And by that 6 to 12 round range, you know, I can't move my feet and my hands drop anyways, and I can't protect my dome. So, but let's say Caleb Plant does an excellent job of protecting his body, changing up the tempo, changing up the looks, changing up his guard, keeping Canelo Alvarez guessing. What is he gonna do? You know, doing a good job of switching up every time he gets backed up into the corner of the ropes. Maybe he smothers, he throws feints, maybe he pivots out with the jab. And he constantly finds a way back to the center of the ring without paying a heavy price. Let's say that happens. Well, what does Canelo do from there? Well, if cutting off the ring ends up not being effective and he's not able to throw a consistent body attack at Caleb Plant, he still has options available, a lot of options. One of the weaknesses I see in Caleb Plant's game is sometimes his head movement. Great footwork, but not always great head movement. It's good, but it's not great. It's not untouchable. One of the combinations I see available for most of opponents in Caleb Plant fights is the double jab. The double jab. It's there all day on Caleb Plant because sometimes he doesn't move his head effectively. And when he does get in that Philly shell guard, he doesn't necessarily catch and roll. Sometimes he just sits there and he'll try to use his feet to always exit out. And that's not what the Philly shell is purely for, man. The beauty of that Philly shell is you can stand your ground, sit in the pocket and fight in a phone booth without getting hit. Caleb Plant doesn't seem to grasp that yet. We'll see this upcoming fight how much he makes adjustments with that guard. But he tends to kind of sit there or he'll pull back, which is not always a good thing, especially with that guard. And right there, the double jab is always there with his opponents. Unfortunately, the lack of quality in opponents, they never stay consistent with that double jab. It's there all night, but they never follow up with it round after round after round. That will be there for Canelo. Canelo has a phenomenal jab, and he does like to double up on it sometimes. But he will need, if say it gets to that point, I don't think it will, to where he has to readjust completely because he can't get down to the body on Caleb. But let's say if it does, he's going to need to shoot that double jab. He's going to need to shoot that double jab and set up shit from there instead of maybe going the pressure fighting route. Another thing that will be available to him that he's really, really freaking excellent at is his lead hook. Caleb Plant is there for the lead hook all night. Once again, he uses that Philly shell guard, but he doesn't usually execute the philosophy behind it, catching and rolling. So sometimes he'll just sit in that Philly shell and he doesn't catch the hooks. And he gets caught with a lot of hooks. And we all know Canelo has a nasty hook. If you don't believe me, go watch that Khan fight where he's throwing that lead hook constantly. So Caleb might be a sucker for that, because not only is he going to be there for it, he might be leaning into that hook. At least with Khan, you know, he was kind of keeping an upright posture and pivoting it out away from it, even though he still got caught with it. But Caleb Plant, he might be a sucker for it because he doesn't catch the hook in that Philly shell. He just kind of sits there. Once again, he either lowers his level or he pulls back and he runs himself into these punches. So, damn, cigarette went out. Even if it gets to that point, which I highly doubt, to where Canelo can't find his way to the body. Okay, Canelo can't find his way to the body. He has plenty of options still to kind of outbox Caleb Plant without having to implement a body attack. He can set shit up with the double jab. He can set shit up with the lead hook. And here's another combo that I see that gets landed on Caleb Plant consistently with each of his opponents. The 1-2. Once again, Caleb loves sitting in that Philly shell guard, but he doesn't implement the philosophy behind it. Catch and roll, catch and roll. He doesn't usually catch the jab and parry with his right hand. Usually he just kind of sits there, and once again, he'll pull back or he'll try to pivot out. And usually sometimes he'll pull back and he'll sit right here, and guess what? You got a guy coming straight forward at you, they can shoot that 1-2 down the pipe, and boom, you're a sucker for it. This is how Tyson Fury got caught with that big right hand of Deontay Wilder. One of the biggest adjustments Tyson Fury made in that fight, defensively, was instead of lowering his level and sitting there, and obviously I understand why he lowers his level. He's trying to slip a punch, and if you're smart enough, you lower your level and then smother. What happens with Tyson Fury in that second fight, or the first fight, he would just lower his level and sit there. And essentially he's a sitting duck for that 1-2 and that right hand coming straight down the pipe. And that's why he got knocked down a few times in that fight. But he makes the adjustment later on. Now, this is not the type of adjustment Caleb wants to make, but one thing Tyson Fury did in that fight with Deontay Wilder to avoid that right hand was, instead of lowering his level down, okay, consistently and just sitting there, he would dominate the center of the ring. He had plenty of real estate behind him, and he would just pull back and extend his arms and roll with that right hand. And he got clipped with it a few times the second fight, but he was rolling with the punch, so it was not as effective. But Caleb Plant, if he doesn't figure out, like, I can't just lower my level and sit here, or lower my level and try to pivot out because I'm going to be lined up with the right hand, the 1-2 will be there for Canelo. It'll be there all night if Caleb doesn't be careful with his positioning with it. So if Caleb decides, I'm going to sit here in this guard, I'm not going to catch any hooks, or I'm not going to parry any jabs, and I'm just going to lower my level and sit here, or lower my level and try to pivot out, Canelo will have that 1-2 all night. If he can double up with the jab, and you know what? Why not double up with the jab? Double up with the jab. You know, ingraining in Caleb's mind, he's coming with the double jab, and then you set up that 1-2 and you just come straight with it, right? He's going to be anticipating a double up with the jab, and instead of, you come straight up, boom, boom. Or maybe you come with a straight right. That's another punch that's available to Canelo Alvarez that I've seen many fighters land on Caleb Plant. You know, lead right hands. And you know, Canelo doesn't throw arm punches. He throws power punches. He sits on his punches and he throws them with bad intentions. So I can't imagine if Caleb gets caught with one of those shots, how it's going to end up. You know, he's really gonna have his chin checked and tested in this fight. The lead right hand will be there. Once again, okay, double jab, double up on the jab, double up on the jab. Get it ingrained in Caleb's mind that the double jab is coming, and then shoot the right hand straight down the pipe. It'll be devastating. So I don't see Caleb Plant winning this fight unless he astronomically improves his head movement and his ability to catch and roll punches in the Philly shell. And even if somehow he does protect his body throughout the fight, I still think there's going to be some openings for Canelo Alvarez in terms of the double jab, the 1-2, and the lead right hand. And with Canelo's countering abilities and power and boxing IQ, he will be able to land a knockout blow if it comes to that. But I don't even think it will come to that. I think Canelo will successfully cut off the ring. I think he'll successfully put pressure. And at times he may fight off the back foot to set up traps, but I think he will execute his game plan very similar to what he did to Billy Joe Saunders and Amir Khan, and he will knock Caleb Plant out. So this is pretty straightforward. There's not much that Canelo needs to do different, but those are some things, hypothetically speaking, if it does get to an interesting point and Caleb fights the fight of his life, some adjustments or things that Canelo can look for. And I think you'll see that anyways. I think you'll see him land those 1-2s, those lead right hands, and those lead left hooks throughout his pressure fighting when he goes up against Caleb Plant. So this is your boy HB with Fine Around. Get at me, tell me what you think, comment down below, like, subscribe to the video. Once again, I'm trying to get the film studies in, but I keep getting copyright issues and the videos get blocked, so I can't give you the visuals I want and reference the fights I want you guys to see to kind of give you a better insight of how this fight may go down. So get at me, you guys. Much love. I appreciate the subscriptions. I appreciate you liking the videos. And I even appreciate y'all who want to talk shit. Let's do it, baby. That's what we're here for. This is why I created this channel, so we all can talk shit and have fun. So get at me.